Hey, would you like to learn the void of course technique we talk about on the podcast often? Well, it's in Chapter 4 of the Book of the Moon. The audiobook is available now on Audible and on Apple Books. And this episode of the Fun Astrology Podcast is brought to you by the Book of the Moon audiobook. So pick yours up today and learn that technique and use it for yourself. TGI Friday, everybody. Thomas Miller on the Fun Astrology Podcast. It's May 17th, and we have several things over this weekend that we need to talk about, so let's roll pretty quickly. We're going to be doing one thing over the weekend unique, and that is this new little podcast that we launched last week on YouTube with Jenny Geyer is going to be here on Sunday. It's the Moon to Sun weekly forecast, and it is a look at the week ahead with Jenny from her perspective. So we'll put that here on Sunday, and hopefully you enjoy it this weekend. I always love helping astrologers get their voice in this world and in this space, and that's just a thrill to help Jenny do that. All right, let's take a look at the sky today. We had already, and we talked about this on Wednesday, that Mercury squared Pluto. You didn't catch Wednesday, it would be good to go back there because that's where we drilled down, and we'll roll forward because the next thing I wanted to mention was the Oracle planet. Today, the Oracle planet, the one that comes up over the horizon just before the sun, is Uranus, and it's been Uranus for most of this week. And I know that a lot of us have been feeling that wobble that Uranus represents. Well, there it is. But don't worry, tomorrow it switches back to Venus, and then Sunday back to Jupiter. So a little zigzagging there as the sun approaches these last couple of degrees of Taurus. Once Jupiter resumes the position of Oracle planet, it stays there into the first part of June. Now, that must mean, though, that Venus and Uranus are going to conjoin. And yes, that is true, and it happens at 7:40 Saturday morning, Eastern Time, of course, as always. And that happens right after the moon enters Libra, after a very short, just hour and 15-minute void, of course. So the early Saturday morning aspects, the moon enters Libra, and Mercury is conjoined, sitting on top of Uranus right there at sunrise. Then at 2:45 Saturday afternoon, the sun conjoins Jupiter in Taurus. Now, one would think that this is like a stack-up of good luck. Kristen Lawhead, you might want to go buy another one of those lottery tickets, or however you're doing it. You might want to pull somebody, let's see, out here. Yesterday, I heard of a neighbor out here who went to one of the local casinos here. Her husband is terminally ill with cancer, and she's the primary caregiver, but somebody came over just to say, hey, get out of the house for a while, go do something fun. She went down to the casino, pulled a lever, $4,000 came out of that machine. Maybe we need to get Kristen back on here to talk about that. Well, speaking of, hey, Kristen.
Hi, I hope everyone is enjoying this super lucky time. The sun conjuncts Jupiter, and that's like the luckiest aspect of the year, other than the Venus coming to Jupiter in a couple of days. But we're all within this aspect right now, having so many planets in Taurus. I mean, May is definitely one of the better months for luck.
Well, I know you've been playing with this luck thing, and I just told the story of somebody that pulled a lever on the slot machine and scored $4,000. I mean, is this one of those aspects that you were talking about?
Definitely. I actually won $100 on a scratch off and bought my mother-in-law a $100 scratch off at the same time. And she also won, or a $10 scratch off, and she also won $100. This is definitely a time to kind of push your luck for sure.
All right. So I'm one of those that I would go to the thing and I would say, I've never won anything in my life. Feed quarters into that thing and it just would eat them. But I guess there's something to this. And if there is a day, this has got to be the day.
Definitely the day. I think especially if people have Venus or Jupiter in earth signs or water signs, and they're creating that sextile or trine to these planets, definitely a good time for you.
All right, Kristen. Well, thanks for calling. I appreciate it. Perfect timing, and I've got to set up the rest of the weekend, but you have a great weekend, and thank you for this.
Thank you so much. Good to talk to you.
Go hug those kids for all of us.
Will do.
I love the sound of that energy, don't you? How precious is that? All right, let's roll on now to Sunday then. I think we hit Saturday quite effectively. We have another solar aspect on Sunday. Everything happening Sunday is in the evening Eastern Time. The sun sextiles Neptune. That's at 6:45 p.m. And then just 2 strokes before midnight, 11:58 p.m. Eastern, Mars conjoins the north node of the moon. Of course, that means it's opposite the south node of the moon, and that's extra significant because finally here we are. The north node has been in Aries. Now the ruler of Aries comes right up to the north node and goes mwah, right on the lips. Like it or not. And the south node in Libra feeling extra activated right now from that opposition tension. The north node entered Aries in July of 2023. We talked about this. We had escalations in the Ukraine situation, and then in October, we had the Palestinian-Israeli conflict begin. We traced it back to the late 1960s during that transit. We talked about it also from a personal perspective of having the guts to stand up for your own self, not letting others tell you what to do and succumb to others' wishes for you, to be Aryan, to stand your ground, and to, even if you have to, fight for yourself. Well, that energy is now meeting the ruler of that sign. Who knows how it will unfold in our own lives and in the collective, but if you've been feeling some extra tension around that, oh boy, there it is. And as far as the sun sextiling Neptune, boy, we have to be careful with several things there. First of all, if you do have some kind of struggle with substances, this weekend could be a weekend where that draw or that pull could be stronger. It also could be a great weekend to kick the habit. Neptune rules addictions. Now, this is a favorable aspect, so if we take the shadow side of deception or fogginess, etc., maybe this weekend we get more clarity from Neptune, which is plugging into the home office. In other words, the lines are open. The window is open. The door is open. Come on in. Sit down. Let's have a talk. So do what you do to be on your intuitive game at the max this weekend. So when you put it all together, today we're standing in the strength of transforming the mind. Tomorrow we're going to go pull some levers somewhere, do something to initiate some kind of luck-oriented theme in your life, however you might do that. And then on Sunday, we're acknowledging the potential challenge of that North Node aspect and realizing that if you're feeling it, this too shall pass. Just count to 10 and realize that if you need to talk to the home office, chances are they'll take your call. Thanks, Kristen, for the advice on the luck factor of Saturday especially, but today you're in it too. I mean, that's all applying today, so it would be strong today and tomorrow. Have fun with it. Play with it. We'll see you back. Level Up on Sunday night. Jenny on Sunday with the Moon to Sun weekly forecast back here on Monday. Merriman, as always. Have a great one. Bye-bye.